my sentiments towards people migrating to our country are expressed at the base of the Statue of Liberty, and I recognize that that we are a nation of people who came from somewhere else. Um, Now, the difference between migration today and migration yesteryear is that the people came here to work. And that meant that, and the reason they came here to work is that if they didn't work, they would starve because there's no welfare state. That is when the poor Irish were fleeing the potato famine in the 1840s and not having anything on their back. Well, they had to come to work because there's no food stamp program or no aid to family dependent children in the 1840s. Another distinction about immigration yesteryear and immigration today is that immigrants came here to become Americans. They came here wanting to be Americans. They came here wanting to learn the English language, and they came here wanting to adopt our culture. You find immigrants coming here today, they want to bring their own culture, and many times it's a failed culture such as Sharia law and honor killings and all this stuff that goes along with Sharia law. And many immigrants come here and they want the ballots to be written in their language. They want Spanish to be spoken. They want second language, English as second language classes. But when the Italians came here, when the Jews came here, and others came here, other Chinese and Japanese, they weren't making this assistance. They came here to become Americans. Now, the impact of immigrants on the labor force has always been the same. That is, the labor unions, for example, have always been for strict immigration laws because more immigrants come, it pushes the supply of labor, the supply curve of labor to the right, meaning that unionists could not get as higher wages as they otherwise would get because they would be able to get because there's an influx of labor. Now, a lot of people say, well, gee, Americans will not do immigrants will do the job that Americans won't do. Well, I'm not sure about that in the following sense. That is, Americans often won't take the jobs, low-paid jobs that immigrants would do, because they're getting welfare, they're getting unemployment compensation. Why should they go and work for $5, $6, $7 an hour when they can get tax-free welfare benefits where they don't have to work at all? So you find that immigrants who might not be eligible for these handout programs, they'll take the jobs. So what American employers are doing, American employers are forced to compete against the welfare state. I've had hotel owners or operators in San Diego tell me that if they could not hire illegals from Mexico, they would have to shut down the hotel because they could not get enough workers, American workers, to come to work for them at wages that the hotel owner thought was reasonable. And you find people say today, I'm not going to take a job at McDonald's and become a hamburger flipper. Well, yeah, they can afford to say that because not taking that job does not mean starvation. I mean, they just, not taking that job means that they live off of some other American. But if not taking that job meant starvation, starving to death, then they would take that job. So the welfare state has corrupted our value system. We don't protect our borders. That is, I think part of the problem is that many of these people are in our country illegally. And I think that people should not be in our country illegally. But I think that one of the big problems we have as a nation is what we've had as a nation is that to become a legal citizen or to become a legal green card holder, it has been very, very burdensome. I think for people, I think it's very, very hard, and I think we need to change our immigration laws to make immigration in our country legal. The fact of business is that is that, of course, there are dislocations in labor markets well, the dislocations that you're talking about with illegal aliens, we saw the same dislocations with mechanization. I mean, that is when, you could say the same thing. When I was a kid, we had ice boxes, and the Iceman brought ice around. Now, I'll be damned when Frigidaire created the refrigerator. I mean, it threw guys out of business. They just couldn't sell the ice anymore. So what do you do? And so I'm saying that it does not sound caring. It does not sound. It doesn't sound caring to say, well, look, there's dislocation in the economic game. Now, in the case of the refrigerator replacing the Iceman, this was legal. But still, it didn't make the Iceman's discomfort any less. He was still out of a job. He had to go find something else or starve, But however, in the case that you're mentioning, what compounds it, makes it more complex, is the fact that these people are in our country illegally. But suppose they were here legally and wanted to work $14 an hour, there would still be the problem for the people who are getting $40 an hour. They would have to go and find something else. That doesn't sound nice. It doesn't sound caring, but that's economic progress. That is, I've had, when I used to talk to these people in Congress, I was testifying on something. This was years ago. I don't talk to these people anymore. But it was a congressman. I was testifying on some aspect in the labor market, and a Congress said, with moral indignation, he says, "Our job is to save jobs." And so I asked him. I said, "What would you have done for the stagecoach driver who lost his job, or the buggy whip guy, or the Iceman?" Or all these other people whose jobs have been destroyed by innovation, technological innovation. He just couldn't. He couldn't give me an answer to that. But we have to recognize this dislocation. But in your case, your particular case that you gave, what makes it more complex to give an answer was the fact of that these are illegal. People in our country. Now, if you said to me, well, what do you think about people? Let's say they're legal immigrants, and they were willing to work $14 an hour. I say I wouldn't have any sympathy whatsoever to the people who lost their job, because that's let them either charge $14 an hour or go out and find something else to do. I think that's the most compassionate answer I could give, but I can say with being illegal makes it more complicated. It started way back, I think in 1992. Bob Dornan used to substitute for Rush Limbaugh, and they call him B1 Bob. And so he called me up for a telephone interview, and this was in 1992, and when I do, and he was Rush's regular substitute host. And when people call me up to do a radio interview, one of my, I take over the show by way of telephone. So anyway, the Rush people, they liked it. And so Rush called me up and he said, I'm going out of town for a couple of days. Would you like to substitute the show for me? And so I said, I never hosted a show before. I wouldn't know what to do. So he said, oh, it's easy. My people will show you what to do. So I came down there and I did the show, and the people liked my performance, and I did it for 20 years as a guest host. And I considered a Rush's show, that's my big classroom. And I like teaching. And I like being able I enjoy the opportunity of being able to explain economics to people who don't know anything about economics and in a way that they can understand it. And I get this from that idea from a very tenacious colleague, very tenacious mentor of mine when I was in the PhD program at UCLA, a fellow named Armin Alshan, who's recently died a couple of years ago. But we were out in the hallway and we were chatting. It was a faculty graduate student coffee hour. And so he used to like to pick on me a lot. But anyway, in the hallway, he says, you know, Walter, he said the true test of whether anybody knows this subject is whether he can explain it to someone who doesn't know a damn thing about it. And so I kind of take pride in trying to explain economics in a way that the ordinary person can understand it. I try to explain it without using the jargon or the mathematics that a lot of economists use. And I take delight in explaining economics to people. So that in a word or two, or in more than a word or two, that's how I got started with Rush. I enjoy talking to people. And then also, the very fact that I've written a column and done a lot of radio interviews and hosted for Rush, I know more economics than I otherwise would know, because I would get letters from people saying, Walter, did you ever think of it this way? Or Walter, you're wrong about this. Or this is a fact. Have you ever thought of this before? And so that's input into my knowledge base that people otherwise would not get. So, and it's input into my knowledge base from the ordinary citizen that would raise questions about things and not use the kind of economic jargon that many economists use. So it has been beneficial to me.